Miiname is avamorganu Hitfield andi turnet 16 standing pare footon te frontboard hile mi moter heldot a plakkarbageba klikkeit vasa pirttai present. Sedidnet sai happy pirttai. Sedidnet hukme. Se just pusset heba kagainst miit hestand said ihad 1-0 minutest o takeitand leave before, te loks veret hanged. At first it hoogtit was somekin dospunisment. One oft hose cruel family moments hat vold and vit someone laughing on telling me vasto sensitive. But hen mi father valkedot behind her vit mi car case in his hand and told me he karvas kone. Solt. Title was in his name anyway. Mi phone started ringing in mi pocket. Probably mi alarm still going off first hole and mi mother snatted it before I could stop her. Set revit into the street so hard, the screen cracked against the curb. Then se rokedat me and side, plans canlet. Figurate out. From upstairs, mi little sister stood in mi old bedroom window, smiling like se had just one something. Se vavedat me and mouted, finally got me spatse. That was when he realized his had not happened in anger. His had been planned. Mi clothes vere packed. Mi room was already taken. Mi insurance was cancelled. Mi savings vere gone. And he peopleuho vere supposed to protect me had erased me besore breakfast. I sleptata pustation hat nicht vithone karbagebak, a broken hone, and no ideat hat 30 taislater, tosse same people vold bekalling me 35 times a day, pekking me to komebak. Before I tell loo hat heil vanted and uhid heil suttenli needet he dauktert hei tre vavai. Tell me his uhat timeisitu herero are rikt now. And uhere arero watching from. Im curious to se how far his story will travel. Mi motheres name was Marissa Parker and se had a talent for making cruelty sound like responsibility. Mi fatheres name was Ken Parker and he had a talent for hitting behind paperwork. To get her, they could explain anything avai ishit benefited him. Mi little sisters name was Belle and from the time he was old enough to point her toes in a pink leotard, mi entire family revolved around her. Belle was not just a kid who liked dance. Se was the dream. Se was the investment. Se was the reason we skipped vacations. The reason bills vere paid latte. The reason every weekend belonged to competitions, rehearsals, costume fittings, private coaching, and hotel rooms near convention centers. Mi mother called it sacrifice. Mi father called it building a future. I called it watching me own childhood get traded in piece for someone else's spotlight. If Belle forgot her dances hoes, everyone panicked. If he forgot lung money, he was told to be more responsible. If Belle cried because he plucked second instead of first, the whole house went silent around her pain. If he come home with strike taas, mi mother glanced at her report card and asked if he could cover the dinner's hist at home because Belle had rehearsal. I learned early that pain code did not make me loved. It only made me easier to ignore. The house we lived in was not even theirs. It belonged to my grandmother, Nora Ohitfield, mi mother's mother. Grandma Nora had bought that house decades earlier, pakkuhend he neighborhood was kuietant he maple trees vere still young. Se letus lived here rentre after mi parents said hell needed help getting back on their feet. That was the present used for years. Getting back on our feet, but some of their feet never quitted out at the ground. There was always another dance fee, another emergency, another excuse for uhi grandma had to cover property taxes or repairs. Mi parents acted like the house was theirs because they had lived in it long enough to believe comfort was the same thing as ownership. Grandma Nora loved me in a way nobody else did. Se remembered me birthdays. Se asked uhat boxi was reading. Se told me I was allowed to take up spatse. But over the years, I saw her less and less. Mi mother said grandma was tired. Mi father said she did not like driving at night. Belle said old people vere. Poring anyway. Sometimes grandma would mention sending me cards I never received. Sometimes se would ask if I liked his sweaters he mailed and I would have no idea what she was talking about. Mi mother always jumped in fast, sashing the pakkage must have been delayed or lost. I believed that until I got older and started noticing Belle wearing things I had never seen before. New jackets, new dance warm-ups, little gold necklaces mi mother climbed vere prices from competitions. On so when I was 14, I heard mi mother and father arguing in the kitchen. I was halfway down the stairs holding a laundry basket when mi mother said, "Is mom ever finds out how much of her money went to Belle, we are done?" Mi father told her to keep her voice down. Tän he said avadoes not ask questions. Se never has. Had sentences taljedin mi head for 2 years. Avadoes not ask questions. Maiped hat vas ahid heit hougt tei kold hand mea karbage pakon mi 16 pirttai and I old just disappear quietly. Masped hat vas uhi heit hougt breaking mi pone old break mi connection tot he world. Maiped hat vas ahi tei hougt selling te old Honda grandma had helped pui for me old not matter bekauset he title was in mi father's name. Tei very wrong. I mal not have asked questions out loud, but I had spent years watching. I vathead mi mother praise likese vassa miracle and look at me like I vassa rethaped se regretted keeping. I vathead mi father use technicalities to etkuse every selfist thing headed. I vathead mi sister learned that if se wanted something, all se had todo was makemelo seit. The morning teit hereu me out, pelle already had potes in mi room, not empty potes. Her drop hies vere on mi dresser. Her tanse mirror was leaning against mi wall. Mi bed had no heads I had never seen before. Se had not moved in asterilest. Se had moved in before I kneu I was being kerased. That was the part that made me test fail hollow. This was not a family losing control in on a terrible moment. This was a plan. Mi birthday was just the teadline. The first night I slept in the bus station because it was the only building I kneu old stay open latte. I sat against the farval with me garbage bag between me knees and me cracked pone pressed to me test liquid cold still protect me. The strain was hattered and the service was tead. But when I held it at the rectangle, I cold still said he time. Every hour felt heavier than the last. At midnight, I was officially 16 years and on a day old. And nobody had called. Not me mother, not me father, not me sister. Nobody checked if she was safe. Nobody checked if she was alive. I kept waiting for Quill to hit him. It never did. By morning, me back hurt from sitting upright, and me throat felt rough from trying not to cry. I valket tot he public library because it had free wifi and bathrooms uhere I cold was me face. I looked into mist hall email and stared at the screen for almost 10 minutes before typing on a message to me manager at the dinner. Her name was Elelane Narujo. Se owned a small breakfast place near the etke of town uhere I worked weekends and a few evenings after hall. I told her there had been a family emergency and asked if I could still come in for me assist. I did not tell her I had been kicked out. I did not tell her I had nowhere to sleep. I was afraid that if I said the truth out loud, someone would send me back to the house and I could not survive being thrown away vice. Elelena replied within 5 minutes. Se said, come in. We will figure it out. Those 4 words were more kindness than I had gotten from my own parents in years. At the dinner, se noticed immediately. Of course he did. My hair was messy. Mis hoes did not mat because my mother had packed on old snäger and honest hole hoe and I kept flinching every time someone raised hair voice. Elena did not push at first. Se gave me breakfast, let me harke mi pone, and asked if I had a safe place to sleep. I lied and said yes. Se looked at me like segneu better, but respected that I was not ready. That afternoon I used the library computer to search for theft shelters. I found on a duopus rides avaid had accepted teenagers in emergency situations. The woman at the front desk asked questions I did not know how to answer. Was in immediate danger? Did I have a guardian? Had Antjone harmed me? Had I contacted hall staff? I kept searching just needed a place for a few nights. Se gave me a bed, a locker, a hygiene kit and a stack of forms that made me hands hake. That bed was not comfortable, but it had a roof over it. For the first time since my birthday morning, I slept lying down. The next 30 days became a routine built out of fear and stubbornness. I went to school. I went to work. I went back to the shelter. I kept my head down and my grades up because school was the only part of my life that had still made sense. My counselor, Merhayes, started watching me closely after I wore the same hoodie 3 times in a row. He asked if everything was okay at home. I said things very complicated. He said complicated was not the same as safe. I almost told him then, but I pictured me mother walking into the hall office with that cold, calm face, telling everyone I was dramatic, rebellious, ungrateful, and I swallowed the truth. My parents were very good at sounding reasonable to strangers. I was scared they would win. I opened a new bank account with my dinner tips and the 72 I had hidden in a pencil case. I saved every reject. I strens hotted pelles Instagram story uhen se postada picture of me old room with the caption, finali have spatset obreathe. I tog pictures of me cracked hone, me karbagebak, thes helter wristband, the missets tholbus passes, everything. I did not know vebaktli uhi I was saving proof. I just knew hat uhen people like mi parents tel lies evidence pekome sotigen. On day 12 I found out mi health insurance had been cancelled. I vasat test hol nurse bekause I had gotten dissi during kim. And ohen se trietolog up mi coverage, nothing was active. I remember sitting there with me hands folded in my lap, feeling smaller than I had felt even on the port. Cancelling a birthday dinner is on a thing. Cancelling your child's ability to see a doctor is something else. On day 18, Elena quietly put me on mores hists and started sending me home with food hat se pretended vasa mistake. On day 22, mer highest called me into his office, aga said he was worried. I told him I was stashing some uhere safe. He asked is mi parents gne uhere I was. I said hei vered he reason I was not at home. His faket hanged, but before he called ask more, the bell rang and I usedit tasan epkuse toleave. On day 30, I puhtat head prepaid pone bekause Elena said I needed a reliable number for work and emergencies. I gave he number to Elena, thes helter intake desk and nobody else. That night, I was folding napkins after closing uhen he pone started pushing. Unknown number. I ignored it. 10 another call. 10 another. Beat he time got back to the helter, I had 21 missed calls. By midnight, I had 35. And ohen he first voikemail played, I heard me mother's voice for the first time in a month. Not calm anymore, not cold anymore, but sucking with panic. Me mother did not start with an apology. People like her never do. Her first voikemail said, ava, this has gone far enough. Call me back right now. Her second said, your grandmother is asking for you and you are being unbelievably selfish. Her third said, ignore you are listening. Stop punishing everyone. Beat he 1-0 message, mi father's voice appeareds harper and lower. He said his was bigger than me attitude problem. He said grandma Nora had fallen and was in the hospital. He said he was upset because he hoped he had the family. And if he had any detensi lest, I would come home and fix the stress he had caused. Fix the stress he had caused. I replied that part 3 times just to make sure I heard it correctly. I had slept in a bus station because he locked me out. I had eaten leftover toast from a dinner because he emptied my savings. I had been walking to. Stvol with a cracked hone and on a karbagebak of clothes because he tekided my sister needed me room more than I needed a home. And somehow in their version, I was still the problem. Teledetected from a number I did not recognize. At first, se vrotelikes he was bored. Grandma keeps asking for you. Mom is freaking out. Then he got me on. If grandma gets worse because you are being dramatic, that is on you. I stared at that message for a long time. There was my sister sitting in the room se stole from me, calling me dramatic for not running back to the people who had harassed me. I screenshotted it. Then I screenshotted every missed call. I wrote down the times in a notebook Elena had given me. I did not call back right away. That my sound called, but those 30 days had taugt me something. When thou have nothing, information is protection. If I answered to son, they would control the conversation. If I waited, they would reveal what they actually wanted. And they did. Around 1 in the morning, my mother left a voicemail that changed everything. Se said, grandma keeps sorring se knows what we did. Se is confused. Ava, se is sorring things about the house and papers and you need to come tell her you are fine before se makes his worse. The house and papers. Not I miss me doctor. Not I am sorry. Not. Are you safe? The house and papers. I sat on the helter bed with me knees pulled to my chest and felt the first clear piece of the puddle click into place. Grandma Nora had found out something. My parents were not scared because he was hurt. They were scared because he was talking. The next morning, I played the messages for Elena before me's hist. She listened without interrupting, her fake getting harder with at hone. When the last message ended, she said, ava, adults who are telling the truth do not sound like that. Mr. Hayes said something similar when he finalis hoved him the call log. He did not raise his voice. He did not act chocked in a white hat mateme fel like problem. He just asked uherei had been starting, if she had fought, if he felt safe, and he wanted help contacting the hospital. I told him I wanted to go, but not because my parents asked. I wanted to see Grandma Nora. See was the only person in that family who ever looked at me and saw a human being instead of an inconvenience. I borrowed bus money from Elena Eventhough, she told me it was not borrowing and took 2 buses across town to the hospital. During the ride, mi phone kept pushing. Mi mother called 11 times. Mi father called 5. Pelle called from 2 different numbers. I did not answer. I rocked out the window and remembered being 8 years old, sitting at Grandma Nora's kitchen table hiles he taugt me how to makepankakes. Sellet me cracked he ex even when I got cells in the bowl. See told me mistakes me and I was learning, not failing. Nobody had said anything like it had to me in years. Beat he time I read at the hospital, mi hands very cold Eventhough it was warm outside. I walked up to the front desk, gave Grandma's name and asked for her room. The nurse tipped, paused and looked back at me. See asked me relationship. I said granddaughter. See checked again and said my name was not on the approved visitor list. For a moment it hooked I misheard her. My family had called me 35 times at I demanding that I come. They had said Grandma needed me. They had said I was cruel for stashing away. But when finally got here, they had made sure I could not get in. That was when I knew for sure. They did not want me to comfort Grandma. They wanted to control what Grandma said before I heard it. I waited in the hospital lobby for almost 2 hours. Every time the elevator doors opened, I looked up. I was tired, hungry and angry in a way that felt almost calm. That was new for me. I used to think anger meant yelling or crying or shocking. But his anger was different. It was quiet. It was focused. It sat beside me like a witness. Finally, my mother walked out of the elevator carrying a paper coffee cup and a plastic bag from the cafeteria. When she saw me, her face hanged so quickly I almost laughed. First relief, then fear, then that familiar mother mask sitting into place. She rushed toward me with her arms half open like we were in some emotional reunion scene. Thank God, she said. "Row come." I stepped back before she called out me and said, "You forgot to put me on the visitor list." Her mouth opened, then closed. She said it must have been an oversikt. I asked who see oversikt since she had called me all night begging me to come. She rocked toward the front desk, lowered her voice, and told me not to make a scene. That was my mother in one sentence. Throw your child out on her birthday, then worry about the scene. She spoke to the nurse and suddenly, magically, I was allowed upstairs. The hallway smelled like disinfectant and coffee. My mother walked beside me, whispering instructions. Grandma is fragile. Do not upset her. Do not bring up the past. Do not confuse her. She has been saying strong things. I stopped walking and looked at her. Had strong things. My mother smiled too fast. Just medication talk. Pain toest had to older people. When we entered the room, Grandma Nora looked smaller than I remembered. Her silver hair was pulled back noisily and on a side of her face was bruised near the cheekbone. Her hip was wrapped after surgery and her very tubes near her arm. But when she saw me, her eyes went completely clear. She reacted out both hands and said mina me like it hurt to sarit. I crossed the room before my mother could stop me. Grandma grabbed my hand and started crying. Not soft tears, real tears, angry tears. She kept saying, "I am sorry, Bobby. I am so sorry." I told her she had nothing to be sorry for. She shook her head and said, "They told me you ran away. They told me you wanted nothing to do with us." My mother moved forward quickly and said, "Mom, you need to rest." Grandma ignored her. Her grip tightened around my fingers. She asked where I had been sleeping. I hesitated and said no. Grandmothers always know the answers to the questions they are most afraid to ask. I soved her mi phone, the cracked screen, the kallog, the text pellets message blaming me, the picture of the garbage bag, the screenshot of Belly mi room. Grandma stared at that on without speaking. My mother kept saying, "Ava, this is not necessary." Grandma finally knocked at her and said, "Be quiet, Marissa." I had never heard anyone say my mother's name like that. Not angry, worse, disappointed. My mother went pale. Grandma asked me to tell her everything, so I did. I told her about the morning of my birthday. The bag, the car, the home, the insurance, the savings account my parents said was no longer mine. I told her about the bus station, the shelter, the dinner, hall and 30 days of silence. With every sentence, grandma's facket hanged, not because he adopted me, because he believed me. And believing me and understanding exactly what her own daughter had done. When he finished, she closed her eyes and whispered. I knew something was wrong. Then she told me what happened before the fall. A neighbor had called her 2 weeks after my birthday and casually asked if I was avoided some program because nobody had seen me. Grandma asked me mother. My mother said I was stashing with a friend because I wanted independence. Grandma did not believe her. She came to the house. My father would not let her into my room. My mother said I had taken me things and left. Grandma pushed past him and saw pellets danced rophies on my dresser, her clothes in my closet, her mirror against my wall. That was when Grandma started yelling. She told him he had no right to put me out of a house that had belonged to her. She told my mother she wanted my number. My mother claimed she did not have it. My father claimed he had blocked everyone. Grandma said she was calling her liar. My mother's facket twisted when Grandma said that part. Grandma looked at me and whispered. The house, ava, the fund, the papers. Take now. Before she called Sal more, my mother cuttins harply. Mom, jõudre konsused. The medication is making low mic things up. Grandma turned her head slowly. I may have a broken hip, she said, but I do not have a broken mind. The room went silent. Then my father appeared in the doorway. He looked at me hand on Grandma's, then at me mother, then at me. And for the first time in my life, I saw fear on his face. My father tried to take control the moment he walked in. That was his habit. He adjusted his voice, lowered his shoulders, and spoke like the only adult in a room full of emotional children. Ava, he said, this is not a plaque for accusations. Your grandmother needs peace. Grandma Nora lifted her hand, back put steady, and pointed to the chair near the bed. Sit down, Ken. He sat, not because he respected her, but because the nurse was standing right outside the open door, and he did not want witnesses hearing him refuse. Grandma asked him on a question. Did you throw my granddaughter out of my house on her 16th birthday? My father, sickhead like he was tired of dealing with unreasonable people. He said he had made a difficult parenting decision. He said he had become disrespectful. He said Belle needed stability. He said he had been given options. I almost spoke about Grandma's who said me hand stopping me. She looked at my father and said that was not an answer. My mother started crying not because she was sorry because crying had worked for her before. She said no net threw me out. She said he wanted freedom. She said teenagers twist things. She said he had always resented Belle. Grandma listened until my mother ran out of breath. Then she said I saw the garbage bag. I saw the room. I saw the messages. And I saw your fake when I said I was calling Grant. That name made both of my parents freeze. Grant Mercer was Grandma's attorney. I did not know much about him then, only that Grandma trusted him and my mother hated hearing his name. Grandma told me to get her purse from the cabinet. My mother moved first, but Grandma snapped. Ava, not you. Inside her purse was a small address book with phone numbers written in neat blue ink. Grandma told me to call Grant. My father stood up immediately and said, absolutely not. Grandma looked at him and said, you are in my house because I allowed it. Do not conscious me kindness with permission to command me. That sentence landed like a slap. I dialed the number. Grant answered on the third ring. Grandma's voice was weak, but her mind was clear. She said she needed him at the hospital as soon as possible. She said it involved the house, the trust, and possible financial abuse of a minor. My mother made a sound like she had been punted. Grant arrived that afternoon with a letter briefcase and the calm face of a man who had spent decades making families destroy themselves over money. He asked Grandma several questions in front of the nurse to confirm she understood where she was, what it was, who we were, and what decisions she wanted to make. She answered every question perfectly. My parents looked sick. Then Grant explained the papers. Years earlier, when grandma sold a piece of land she inherited from her late husband, she had treated two education accounts on a forme and on a for pelle. Mine had started when he was born. With interest in contributions, it had grown to almost 38,000. Not gas for shopping, not price money, protected education, money for tuition, books, safe housing, and transportation connected to school. She had also written conditions into her family trust. My mother and father could live in the house rent as long as both children were being cared for fairly and neither child's designated funds were misused, redirected, or withheld as punishment. If either child was abandoned, financially exploited, or forked out, an independent trust could take control. I felt this hearing it not because of the money, because suddenly my entire life made sense in the ugliest way. My parents had not thrown me out because they could not afford me. They threw me out because I was in the way. As long as I was visible, grandma could ask questions. As long as I was in the house, she could see the difference between how I lived and how Pelle lived. But if I disappeared and they convinced grandma I had run away, they could paint me as unstable, ungrateful, maybe even undeserving. Then they could push to have my education money redirected to Pelle's dance future. My father tried to interrupt Grant, saying that was an unfair interpretation. Grant opened a folder and removed copies of emails my father had sent 3 years earlier asking where her unused funds from on a grandchild's education account could be transferred to the other for specialized training. Specialized training meant dance. Grant said her request had been denied. My father's mouth shut. My mother whispered that they were only trying to support Pelle's talent. Grandma asked at the cost of our safety. My mother said nothing. Grant asked me to list everything that happened after my birthday. I told him that the times what was said what was taken. He wrote it all down. When he mentioned my father selling the Honda, Grant asked who paid for it. I said grandma had helped with most of the money, but the title was put in my father's name for insurance. Grant turned to my father. Is that accurate? My father said it was complicated. Grant said, complicated is not the same as legal. That was the moment I understood why my parents were afraid. Not because they felt guilty, because every technicality they had used against me was starting to turn around and fuck at him. Grandma asked Grant to have cold be done immediately. He said the education account could be moved under independent control. The house arrangement could be reviewed. A formal notice could be issued. And because I was 16, not 18, school staff and the proper authorities would need to be informed that my legal guardians had forked me out and concealed my location from the homeowner and from extended family. My mother started sobbing harder. My father said they would fix it. Grant looked at him and said he was afraid to try. Then he added that jutkesten to look poorly on adults who cancel at Hilt's insurance, take her savings, sell her transportation, and leave her sleeping in public places or living rent in a house they do not own. Nobody spoke after that. For once, there was no speech my father could make and no tears my mother could use. Grandma looked at me, still holding my hand, and said, Bobby, they tried to make you disappear because they were afraid of what you were worth, but your worth was never theirs to decide. The next day, Grant came back with emergency documents. Grandma Nora nodded tired, but there was still in her voice when she asked for a pen. My mother tried on a last time. She stood beside her bed and said, Mom, please do not tot his hile you are emotional. Grandma looked at her and said, I was emotional when I trusted you. Today, I am informed. That shut her arm down. Grant plucked the papers on her rolling table and explained everything slowly. My education fund would be moved under an independent trust, so my parents could never touch it, redirect it, freeze it, or use it to control me. The money would go towards school, safe housing, transportation, and basic needs connected to finishing my education. I would not suddenly become rich. I would become protected. And after 30 days of learning what it felt like to have no protection at all, that meant more than any number cold. Grandma signed. My mother cried harder. My father backed near the window, jau tikt, like anger cold somehow reurited the ink. Then Grant handed him a formal notice regarding the house. My parents had 90 days to begin paying market rent into an account managed by the trust, or they had to leave. If tei refused, te trust vold begin legal removal proceedings. Mi father actually laughed onke, short and ugly and said, you cannot kick us out of our own home. Grandma did not even blink. She said, it was never your home. It was the place illet you live hile I believed you were raising me grandchildren with love. Mi father said he had spent years maintaining the property. Grant asked for receipts. Mi father said that was not the point. Grant said receipts were often the point. Mi mother tried as oster approach. Se turned to me, whipping her fake, and said, my peve cold I'll go home and talk as a family. I asked her on a question. Would you be asking me to come home if grandma had not hanged the papers? Se looked at me and for half a second, the mask slipped. The answer was on her fake before she said anything. No, se would not have called. Se would not have searched. Se would not have carried her slept. Se only wanted me back because losing control of me and losing control of everything else. Mi father told me I was destroying the family. I said, no, you did that when you handed your daughter a garbage bag and locked the door. Pelle was not at the hospital, but se made sure everyone knew how se felt. Se tekted me allaster noon. You ruined mi competition season. Mom sars ve mikt have tosel mi costumes. This is all because you had to be dramatic. I screenshotted every message and sent them to Grant. Then I put them on a fake down. For the first time in my life, I did not feel the need to answer her. That was its own kind of freedom. By the end of the week, my highest knew everything. Thes helter documented the dates I had stayed here. Elena wrote a statement confirming I came to work with a broken hone, mis matset hoes, and no stable place to sleep. Thes whole nurse confirmed my insurance had been cancelled. Nobody had to evacuate. The truth was a no. On the proper reports were made, my parents could no longer tell people I had run away because I was rebellious. They had to explain why their 16-year-old daughter had been missing from their home for a month, while they continued posting dance photos and living in a house owned by the grandmother they had lied to. And people noticed. Dance moms noticed first because they noticed everything. On of pellets teamates mothers asked why my mother had been fundraising for travel fees while her older daughter was in a youth shelter. Another asked why grandma Nora's house was suddenly under legal review. My mother stopped going to the studio for a while. My father lost a big sale at the dealership after a customer recognized his name from local gossip and asked if he was the man who sold his daughter's car after throwing her out. Was that fair? Maybe gossip is mess. But so is sleeping at a bus station because your parents tekid paperwork mattered more than you. Grandma arranged for me to stay with her neighbor, mrs june vallatse until longer-term housing could be approved through the trustee. Mrs vallatse had a small guest room with yellow curtains and a lock on the door. The first night here is told incident had room for almost 5 minutes just turning the lock open and closed. It sounds small, but after everything, a door I controlled felt like a miracle. Elena kept me on at the dinner. My highest helped me build a whole plan so I could catch up without burning out. Grandmade sure my education fund was safe. Grandma started physical therapy and told every nurse who would listen had stubborn women heal faster when they have unfinished business. My parents tried to call. At first they were angry, then they were desperate. My mother said she had made mistakes. My father said things got out of hand. Pelle said she missed me, but only after her dance coach told my mother the unpaid balances had to be cleared before the next competition. I did not block them immediately. I let the voicemails collect because evidence had become a habit. But I stopped letting their voices tekida who I was. 90 days later, they did not have the money for market rent. The house they had treated like at Ronepekame, the place they had to pack up and leave. I did not go watch them move out. I did not need to. I had already seen the ending in my mind. My mother standing near the same front door here, she had handed me a garbage bag. My father holding paperwork that no longer protected him. Pellegrin because her room says tole was not hers to keep. They told me to figure it out. In the end, they were the honest with 90 days to do exactly that. But the real lesson was not that they lost the house. It was not even that they lost the money. The real lesson was that being unwanted by the wrong people does not mean you are worthless. Som etimest he peopleu hokall themselves family are only protecting the version of jou helkanuse. Real family protects tour futureu hen jou are too young, too scared or too broken to protect it yourself. Real love toes not make jou earns helter. It toes not cancel your safety to reward someone else's dream. It toes not throw jou avaiant hen call jou selfies for surviving. Ilearnet to save proof. Ilearnet to ask for help from safe adults. Ilearnet hat money and legal documents matter because it help can protect vulnerable people when emotions and promises fail. Most of all, ilearnet hat me life did not begin when me mother loved me. It began when I stopped believing in needed her permission to matter. So is our own family through low avai, then come back on because it hell were losing money, what would you?